Okay, so this is number 5 in the homework. I'm going to record this in case anybody else wants to watch it. This is number 5 in the homework. Sam invested $18.50, 6% and 8%. The yearly income of 8% investment was $18 more than twice. So 8%, I'm going to call this one A. Unfortunately, I have to go back and forth, so it's really hard for me to read this and come to here. Give me a second. So it says the yearly income of the 8% A was $18 more. So A, the yearly income A is $18 more. I'm adding $18 to something. There, thank you. See, I don't know why I'm not. I was going to try to copy and paste it onto this board. $18 more than twice the income from the 6%, than 2 times the income from the 8%. Okay, so let me go through this. Sam invested $18.50. Part of it at 6% and part of it 8%. The yearly income from the 8% was $18 more than twice the income from the 6% investment. How much did he invest at each rate? So we're trying to find A and B. So first of all, one equation would be A plus B, the amount he had in A, that's a plus the amount he had in B equals $18.50. So that's one equation. We know these two amounts add up to $18.50. Now the income from the 8% investment. Now B is the amount he had in the investment. The income is B times 6%, which is, I'm going to put it in decimal form, 0.06 times B. So this is the income. That's, when you have money in the bank, 6% interest, that's the income that you get, the extra money. Your money's still in the bank, but this is the extra money the bank gives you. So 0.06 times B equals $18 more than twice the income, than 2 times twice the income from A. And the income from A is 0.06 times A. So these are the two equations. 0.06. See, I had them over here. Maybe I should put them down here. A plus B equals $18.50. So these are our two equations. So you could use that. You could solve that using something doesn't seem right. Hang on. B was 8%. See, I can't read my own writing, so that should be at 8%. There we go. So you could use substitution or elimination. I think substitution would be best for this equation. Just remember these two. I'm going to take them to the next slide so I'll have room. A plus B. And this thing's having a hard time writing today for some reason. 1850. And the other equation is 0.08B. 0.08B equals 2 times 0.06A. I think it's plus 18, right? Plus 18. 18 more than twice the amount of A. 18 more, yes. Okay, so these are the two equations. So you either use substitution or elimination. I think substitution would be best. because I can get B equals if I divide everything by 0.08. So I'm going to divide this by 0.08, this by 0.08, and this by 0.08. Let's see what happens when I divide each of those by 0.08. 0.08 divided by 0.08 is just 1B. Now, I have to do 2 times 0.06 first on top. 2 times 0.06 divided by 0.08. And I get 1.5A. And then I get 18 divided by 0.08. And I get 225. Okay, so that's the start of my substitution. So I just changed the second equation to this, and I still have A plus B equals 1850. I know what B equals. Do you see B? I can substitute in here. This is what B equals, so I can substitute that. So I have A plus B, and B is 1.5A plus 225 equals 1850. I'm trying to write neat. So 1A plus 1.5A is 2.5A plus 225 equals 1850. All right, so I need to take the 2.5 to the other side and the 225 to the other side. Which one do I take to the other side first, the 2.5 or the 225? I'm solving for A. I'm trying to find out what A equals. Do you know which one I take to the other side first when I solve for A? Yeah, exactly. You always take the add and subtract. This is a plus 225, so I minus 225. Minus 225. It's not writing perfectly. So I end up with, I'm running out of room again, 2.5A. I'm going to write it up here. 2.5A. That turns to 0. Equals 1850 minus 225. And that would be 1625. So that's a 2. So I divide both sides by 2.5. Now it's a 2.5 times. So I divide both sides by 2.5. And that's probably right. I have my calculators. You're ahead of me. Divided by 2.5, and I get 650. So A equals 650. Well, we know from the first equation that the two have to add up to 1850. So on your calculator, 1850 minus 650 is 1200. Why isn't this thing writing correctly? This is odd. This has never done this to me before. So there's my two answers, 650 and 1200. Did you get it? Do you think that's... I mean, you should have a problem similar to that. I thought I did one of these on the Quiz Help video. Well, the one on the Quiz Help's video would be more like the one on the quiz. Yeah, the first, yeah, it's really hard to get the equations down first. When on these problems like this, there's usually always something plus something equals the total amount. The second equation is always, not always, but sometimes difficult. Usually the second equation was A times a percent plus B times a percent equals the total, interest or something like that. Yeah. All right. You said you wanted to do number 10 next. Are you okay with this, or you want to move on to number 10? Okay. Let's see. Do, 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 do. No, I'm not doing number 10. No, 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 no. Using the matrix approach. Let me explain it. I try to do it in the live chat, in the recording, and there's just not enough room. That problem actually might take a couple of pages. That's why I said I was going to do it. But if you're going to do it in the matrix form, let me just show you that. I don't want to do it. Look at the first line. It's a 1, -3, -2, 1, -4. See, I can't even remember that. 1, -2, -3. And 4. Then if you go to the second line, oh, that's a -4. Yeah, it's too much of a hassle. I don't think that should be an algebra course. -2, 7, 1, -2, -2. The next line was -2, 7, 1. Oh, I definitely wrote that down wrong. -2, 7, 1. I didn't even write the first row down right. -2, -2. So what did I do wrong in the first row? 1, -3. See, I didn't. 1, -3, -2. See, it's too confusing for me to even write it down. Anyway, the goal for this problem is add and subtract the rows. I think I did a similar one, but a smaller one. The add and subtract the rows, so you have 1, 0, 0, 0, and then a number, 0, 1, 0, 0, and then a number 0. How many? Where there are 4 lines. 0, 1, 0, and then a number, then 0, 0, 0, 1, and then a number. Let's say the number is 4, 3, -1, and 6. You had to add and subtract those rows until you get this setup where you have a 1, all zeros in the number. This tells you that the first letter, if you look at the first letter in all these, it's X, X1, X2, X3. So this tells you that X1 equals this answer, this number, 4. And then X2, the 1 in the second spot tells us X2 equals 3. X3 equals -1, and X4 equals 6. You have to subtract and add and multiply the rows until these numbers look like that. And it's a lot of work. That's why I'm not even having it on the. It's on the quiz, and it's actually, I think, on the final. But I'm going to give you the points back for that, because that problem can take over half an hour just to do it, let alone for me trying to write it down. So that's why, the goal is to add and subtract those rows and numbers, and to make it look like this. Once it looks like this, then you have the answers. That's X1, X2, X3, and X4, or A, B, C, and D. Sorry, it's just too long of a problem, and I just thought it had no business being in this class. I teach also at a community college here in Texas, and we don't even do 4x4 matrix like that. Even for the people who are going to be engineers, it's just too long of a problem. Yeah, it would take a good half an hour to do it, and then writing it on this board. Oh my God, that's why I gave up on it on the quiz help video. It was, yeah, I didn't have the room, and then the video would have been so long. All right, what's the next problem? Oh, number 14. Let's take a look at number 14. Can you copy and paste 14? Use Kramer's rule to... No, don't use Kramer's rule. It says use Kramer's rule to find a solution for this 2x minus y equals negative 2. I mentioned this in the video. 2x minus y equals negative 2. And then 3x plus 2y equals 11. 3x plus 2y equals 11. Don't use Kramer's rule. And I think in a couple of discussion posts, I mentioned that we should only be learning how to graph, how to do the substitution method, and how to do the elimination addition method. If you want to use other rules, you can learn them on your own. But when it says use Kramer's rule, just use substitution or elimination. So don't use Kramer's rule. Once again, the matrix and Kramer's rule, they're very complicated, and I think they're beyond the scope of this course. Okay, so I'm going to use you use the substitution method, which is fine. But I see something here that makes the elimination method really easy. So let me do it using the elimination method. Do you see how my y's, one's a positive and one's a negative? And if I multiply the top row by 2, then they're both the same but different signs. And that's what you want for the elimination method. So I'm going to multiply the entire top row by 2. Everything in the top row. This is the elimination method. I'm using elimination, which is also called the addition method. So I'm going to multiply the entire top row by 2. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times a negative 1y is a negative 2y. 2 times a negative 2 is a negative 4. The second row we're going to just leave alone. So we want to make either the x's the same or the y's the same. And we've made the y's the same with different signs, and that's our goal. That's why this is called the elimination or the addition method, because now we're going to add them going down. 4x plus 3x is 7x. Negative 2y plus 2y is 0. Negative 4 plus 11 is 7. Then if I divide both sides by 7, x equals 7 divided by 7, which is 1. So I have half the answer already, 1. Then I can pick any one of my original equations. Now we kind of use substitution. You pick any one of the top equations that you started with. I'll just pick this one here. 3x plus 2y equals 11. And I'm going to plug 1 in for x. Everywhere there's an x, I'm plugging a 1 in. So when I do the math now, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2y equals 11. So I'm going to solve for x, get the 3 to the other side by subtracting 3. subtracting 3. I really wish this pen would be neater. I have 2y equals 11 minus 3 is 8. Divide both sides by 2. So it doesn't matter which method you use, just as long as you get the correct answer. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my answer is x is 1, y is 4. 1, 4. So don't worry about Cramer's rule. Don't worry about Cramer's rule. I think on this, the homework, I think I give you credit for 2 homework, or at least 1 homework problem, maybe 2. And on the quiz, I'm going to give you credit back for that 4x4 matrix if you get it wrong. That number 10 is a headache. So when you use substitution, did you get 1, 4 also? I think I think it's easier to use the elimination method. You saw, since I just had to multiply one row by 2, and I eliminated something pretty quick. But I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. I normally use the substitution method. You know, x plus y equals 6. 2x equals 3, or 2x equals 4, y plus 8. I normally use the substitution method if I can easily get an x equals. Do you see, if I divide everything by 2, I have x equals. And then I plug it into the x. It makes it, you know, if I have to do a lot of stuff to manipulate it, I'll just use the elimination method. But if there's something easy like x equals at the very beginning of the problem, then I'll use the substitution method. Anything else? Hi, Annie. I'm glad you came. Can you hear me? All right, let me try number 18. Oh, I did this. I did this one it's in the announcement section. Let me check it really quick. I'm almost certain I did this in the announcement section. So check, if you would, click on announcements really quick. I don't know if you can actually do that from the conference tab. If you go to the announcements, I did this one and posted it. Let me check. And there were a couple of comments saying I typed that answer in, but each person usually gets a different problem. Where is it? We are in week 4. Yes, number 19, week 4, number 19. It's in the announcement. I posted that. So that's already, there's a video of it in the announcement section. Oh, which one did you want me to do again? 18. Oh, that's number 19. Oh, aren't they the same? No. Oh, it's actually the same thing. So let me show you. 18 is actually easier than number 19, which is perfect. All right, so I will do this one. Look at all the coordinates. Let's look at all the. First of all, the equation is 4x plus 3y. The equation. This is the equation. Let me write down. The equation is f of x. Oh no, why did my pointer change? There we go. The equation is 4x plus 3y. Okay, will you look at all the points that all those points on there, when you all those are all like the intersections where the lines would cross. When you look at number 19, it shows all the lines that are crossing, and I look at the points where they intersect. So one of them's 2 4 4 8. So we're looking at 2 4. We're looking at 4 8. 1 1 and 5 2. 1 1 and 5 2. And the question asks, maximize the function. So, right, this is the x value and this is the y value. You plug the x and y into each one of these. Plug 2 into x, 4 times 2. Plus 3 times y, 3 times 4, and I get 12 and 8, I get 20. And just find out which one's the largest. So if I plug 4 in there, 4 times 4 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 16 and 24, when I plug those in, I get 40. 1 and 1, I get 4 times 1 is 4, 3 times 1 is 3, 4 plus 3 is 7. Put 5 in there. 5 times 4 is 20, and put a 2 in the y. 2 times 3 is 6. Add those together, I get 26. So it says which point is the maximum 2, 4. So the question was, what is the maximum? And the maximum is 40. Now, it also says what's the minimum. So the minimum, this is the max, and this is the minimum, the smallest number. When you plug in those intersections into the regular problem, that wasn't too bad. You just had to understand what they were asking for. You had to plug those numbers into the equation. So that video I did is the same thing as this, except in the video you have to actually draw the lines. In this in number 19, they give you the equations. You have to draw those lines. For number 18, they drew the lines for you, but for number 19, they didn't draw the lines. They gave you 4 equations. You have to draw the lines. For number 19, you'll see in the video, you have to draw those lines that are there. Let's say these are the lines, and then this is the shaded part. And so you're going to find out these coordinates and plug it into the equation, and which one's the maximum. Where do they intersect each other to form the graph? Here's our x and y coordinate. Let's say our graph looked like this. There's a line here, there's a line there, there's a line there. Then you could do something like this, saying this is the shaded in region. So this is a coordinate, where it crosses. There's those 2 lines cross there. These 2 lines cross here. There's a line that crosses the y-axis also there, and there's one there. So, and then you find the points. So that's the way number 19 works. The video on that will show you. And I got a couple of comments on that video. Oh, I typed in your answer and it didn't work. It's because everybody gets different problems. You're not going to get the same problem as I do. As I have. Some people might, but normally we get different problems. Annie, did you have any questions? Are you there? Testing 1 2 3. I haven't seen you type in. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? See how bad this thing writes? Maybe she left. Any other ones? All right, let's take a look at number 17. So x is less than or equal to 6. Okay, so this is not too bad. Let's see. Can you copy and paste that? I don't know if it'll let you do the equations. And I will draw. So first we're going to draw our graph paper. There we go, our x and y axis. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. So the first equation says x is less than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. The equation x is less than or equal to 6. So we're just looking at the equation x equals 6. If I draw a t-table, when x is 6, when x equals 6, the way to draw that equation, x is always 6. Y can be anything. Type in any number. Quick, type in any number. 3. So if x is 6, y can be 3. I'll type another number in. If x is 6, y can be 0. So I want to put dots where x is 6. 6, 3, 6, and this is 1, 2, 3. 6, 3 is right here. And the next dot is, let me do it in red. And then 6, 0 is right here. If you connect those dots, do you see x equals 6 is a vertical line? And since the equation has an equal sign in it, it's a vertical solid line. If it was x is less than 6, if the equation was x is less than 6, then the line would be dashed, not totally equal. So we're using a solid line, x equals 6. Now we're also going to do, by the way, less than 6. X is less than 6. All the numbers where x is less than 6 go this way, right? These are all the numbers where x is less than 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, -1. These are all the numbers. The red graph is x is less than 6. So next I want to do y is less than -1. Here's y is less than or equal to -1. If I do y equals, you always have to graph y equals -1, you know, graph the equal part. And I'm going to do a t-table, x and y again. Y always in this case equals -1, -1. X can equal anything I want. I can put 3, I could put 0, I could put 9. It doesn't matter. So let's put a dot at this point. 3, -1. X is 3, y is -1. That would be down here. -1 is right there. And the next, x is 6, right here. Y is, oh, we're doing this one. 3, -1. X is 0, y is -1. That would be right here. So we're going to do a solid line because there is an equal sign in the equation. I'm trying to do a solid line through that. And it says y is less. Less than -1 is this. All going down. So the answer to this equation then is, see, the way you would do this on your paper, it's not easy. You would just draw this line, then you would draw this line, and then you would only shade in where they both have in common. So all that other stuff isn't part of the problem, answer. only the part where the blue and the red cross. So, I mean, the way this answer would look then if you were going to, graph it on your paper, you would put a line at I'll do it like this. You would put a line at 6, you would put a line at -1, and where are they both? Oh, wait. Let's go back one. Yeah, at 6 and -1. There we go. Where are they in common? And they are. Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm trying to get there. Now it's not letting move. This is everywhere it's in common. So this is the only part that gets shaded in where it's in common. Do you see? The rest of the graph doesn't get shaded in, only where the two lines cross. And once again, that's very similar to number 19 in the video, because there you have 4 different lines. I think you have x equals 0, y equals 0. That just, this is y equals 0, this is x equals 0, and then you have 2 other equations that you have to graph. Number 19 is not an easy one. Annie, are you with us yet? Okay. Let me go through. Let me do number 16. I don't know. Is 16 okay? See, number 16 is just like the problem we just did, but it deals with equations. Number 16 is x plus y is less than 3. So we just need 2 points for this. Can you give me 2 points where x and y, and don't use less as greater. I mean, x plus y is greater than 3. Don't use greater than 3. When you're doing these points, use equal. Give me 2 points where x plus y equals 3. Can you give me 2 points where x plus y equals 3? So, a lot of people try to do the greater than. Yeah, 2 plus 1. There's 1, 2, and 1. Give me another one. Give me another one that equal 3. You're too slow. I'll do it. How about 3 plus 0? 3 plus 0 equals 3. So let's graph these 2 points. X is 2, y is 1. That would be right here. If it lets me graph it there. I'm trying to put a dot there. That's weird how it won't let me put a dot. Okay, so that point is 2, 1. 3, 0, here's 3. 3, 0 would be right here. If I connect those dots, and do you see how this is greater than? There's no equal sign in this problem. So when you connect these dots, since there's no equal sign, you have to use a dashed line. You have to use a dashed line here. It can't be a solid line because a solid line is only reserved for when it says equals in the problem. So the other equation is x minus y equals 6. So now we're going to do x minus y equals 6. And it's not really equal 6. The problem says is greater than 6, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Greater than 6. So, but give me two x and y, x minus y that equals 6. What can I write down? X and y that equals 6. Except it has to be an x minus y. 7 minus 1, perfect. Or you could do 6 minus 0. So 7 and 1, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me do it in a different color. 7 and 1 would be right there, if that's 7. 7 and 1 is right there. 6, 0 would be right here. If it's going to let me draw it. There it goes. It's still not letting me draw it. That's weird. There. Why is it not letting me put it there? That's 6, 0. If I connect those dots, and once again, it's not an equal sign. So we have to use a dashed line. That's what we get. So let's do x minus y is greater than 6. So I think I show this in the help video. I need to know, do I shade in this side or do I shade in this side? I need to know what side of this line I shade in. One way of doing that is plugging in 0, 0. You see 0, 0 is right here. So if I plug in 0 minus 0, is 0 minus 0 greater than 6? Is 0 minus 0, see the problem is x minus y is greater than 6. Is 0 minus 0 greater than 6? Yes or no? No, you said no. Do you see, since the red dot is on this side, if you said yes, you would shade it in towards the red dot. But since you said no, we have to shade this away from the red dot, away from 0, 0. So all this part gets shaded in, if I could shade it. We're shading everything away from the red dot. Yeah, now my pen is really not working well. Okay, I'm going to try it. There, not that. We're shading everything away from the line because we said no, it's not equals. So put 0, 0 up here. 0, 0, 0 plus 0, is that greater than 3? Is 0, 0 greater than 3? And the answer is no. So, and our x plus y line is this one right here. So, no, we don't shade it toward, do you see this is the x plus y line? We said no. If we said yes, we would shade it towards the red dot, except we said no, so we have to shade away from the red dot. We said no, so we have to shade away from the red dot. And the only part that is in common, right, that has both colors is all this and all this. So this is the answer. The red part is the answer. It's where the two colors combine. This you don't put in the answer. This you don't put in the answer. You would draw your two lines like we did with the dots. And then with that little, I think there's like a little paint bucket that you you pick, and then you touch this area and it shades it in. So only the shaded in part where both sides are touching, the colors match or cover each other is the solution. No, that's the correct answer for that one. You might have drawn the line wrong or something, and it has to have the dots on it. I would try it again and all. I'm going to do another live chat with another class. Just wanted to see if there's any last minute questions. Annie, did you ever get online? I think she came and left. Last call, Annie. I gotta go here. I got another chat to do. Did you get it to work, Leslie? Keep on trying on that. I think it has something to do if you didn't get it correctly. More than likely, it's the lines that are wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if I can go to your particular one. Give me a second. Let me turn